So today we'll study about myocarditis and pericarditis. So cardi comes from cardio, from heart, and itis is an inflammation. So it would be the inflammation of the heart. We have myo and peri. Myo comes from muscle and peri comes from like perimeter and around. So we have the heart, and the inner part is the endocardium. Then we have the actual muscle that pumps. It's called the heart muscle, and it's called myocardium. Myo from muscle and cardium from heart. And then we have the epicardium, which is the outermost layer, or the pericardium. And it's known as pericardium, and it's called Cirrus Pericardium, the blue part. And then the actual pericardium that we see when there is a surgery, for example, is the fibrous pericardium. It's got this little fiber, yellow fibers. It's not yellow, but it's drawn in yellow. These fibers, it makes the heart rough, so it's called fibrous pericardium. And the outer lining is the pericardium. And so we'll talk about a few causes of the myocarditis and pericarditis. So we have infectious and non-infectious. The infectious, the number one in the first world is the virus called Coxsackie, which makes you have the symptoms or high fever, and also you get like ulcer, some bruise, some blisters in your hand, in your face, and on your feet. Actually, that happens more with children, but it can happen with adults also. In South America, the most common one is protozoan infection, which comes from the Trypanosoma cruzi, which is the Chagas disease, which leaves you with Chagas, which is a blister or a sore, an ulcer. And the most important cause is the bacterium, the Borrelia burgdorferi, which is the Lyme disease. These are very similar, but they cause myocarditis. So the non-infection, we got idiopathic. Idiopathic comes like from idiotic, which is we don't know, something that we don't know. And 50% is viral, so it's likely viral. We'll also have rheumatic fever. So we have the streptococcus infection. It's very common, and that causes immune system to make antibodies that attack myocardium. It's like that thing of the blood that you have a specific type of blood, and if you put another type of blood, it will attack, something like that. Also, we have cardiotoxic, like cocaine, abuse, alcohol. Like you can drink alcohol, but if you drink too much in too little time, it can be bad. Also, carbon monoxide poisoning, like from the car or something like that. Chemo drugs like doxorubicin, if you keep on doing chemotherapy, it can lead to that. But these drugs aren't in use anymore because it was found out. Also have systemic disease like lupus, sarcoidosis, and scleroderma. Scleroderma is when you have too much collagen in your derma, which is skin. So lupus is a autoimmune disease that attack the cells in your immune system. Also, and sarcoidosis is the growth of tiny inflammatory cells in your body, and the symptoms are you may have a lot of pain in your eyes, fatigue, night sweats, and malaise. And yeah, you can read here. And for pericarditis, it's the virus, the CMV. Which is not that. So the CMV cyto comes from cell megalovirus, the herpes simplex virus, which is HSV, and the HIV, which is the human immunodeficiency virus. Okay. On the third wall would be the tuberculosum bacterium. And also specifically for constrictive pericarditis, when it is it's so inflamed that the heart can't even like expand or pump. Also, we have the non-infection. I have post-myocardial infarction, the Dressler's syndrome, which is a heart attack, a second heart attack. So you can have that 2 to 3 weeks or even to 1 month after you had your first myocardial infarction. It's called the Dressler's syndrome. Also by radiation, like repetitive X-rays. That comes from reactive fibrosis. Also, if you have cancer, it can spread to the pericardial space, which is this blue part here. This is like void, it's not void, but here you have the cirrus, here you have the fibers. Trauma by contusion from compression of your sternum on your pericardium. So if you put your hand on your left chest and you go all the way to the middle, you can feel something very hard. That's your sternum bone. Or you can like put your hand on the pommel, and go all the way down, and you'll feel right in the middle of your chest, the sternum bone. That what makes the other bones, the medulla, and actually not the bone. They make white cells, but that when you do CPR, the cardiopulmonary resurrection or resuscitation, it will be making pressure over that bone, and you break the ribs, and so that you can compress the heart by force. And so that was happened, but it's not wanted. So it breaks like in a car accident. If you hit with so much force the steering wheel, you can have that contusion. And also we have hypothyroidism, which when the thyroid cell doesn't work correctly, and uremia, which is buildup of the waste